Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang, and welcome to this broadcast. The purpose of this broadcast today is to focus on stress management and how the spiritual life helps us to live in a less stressful way. And my question for you to consider as you continue on your journey down life's road is, what aspect of the spiritual life do you think is most important for you to be as healthy as possible? Now, the context for this is looking at life in a whole health perspective. That means looking at it from a body, mind, and spiritual health perspective. And today we're focusing on spiritual health as the core, the key part of our core. And the question is important because there's a lot about the spiritual life that we can focus on, and sometimes we're focusing on the peripheral stuff and not on the core, and that doesn't help us as much in our desire to live a healthy life. So I know that you know a lot about the spiritual life, and I know that you are trying as much as you can every day to live in an authentic, spiritually healthy way. So especially from a Christian perspective, what is the thing that is the most important for you to be considering in being healthy spiritually, and how does that affect your chronic stress experience? Well, when I was reflecting this morning, the thought that came to me was one of the things that when Jesus answered the Pharisees when they asked him what was the most important commandment, and he talked about the great commandment, which is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your strength. And what struck me when I was reading that was the idea of loving God with your whole heart. And I was remembering that one of the concepts that has been speaking to me the most over the years, because I look for ways to motivate both myself and my family and patients to go from here to there when it's a difficult thing. You know, what will motivate you to do that difficult thing? And really what it comes down to is having core desires about that issue that drive me from within rather than something that's external that's pushing me. If there's something inside of me that's driving me from within, then that's going to be much more effective in making the changes that have to happen in my life for me to be as healthy as I can be. So what would be a core desire in the spiritual life? Well, I think that Jesus gives a clue here when he says to love God with your whole heart, your whole mind, your whole strength. Now, what that means, I think also, is that it means to be living and loving with great degree of passion and with a great degree of enthusiasm. And looking at it from a different perspective, we can think of times in our lives when we're following the spiritual path, but we're not doing it in a very enthusiastic way, and we're not really feeling it deeply what we're trying to do. And that is when we're living the spiritual life not being in touch with a core desire. So if a core desire is at work, I am impelled from within inside me to do that thing that I want to do, and I'm impelled to do it with enthusiasm. I feel strongly about that thing, whatever it is, if I'm coming out of a core desire. So if I'm not at a place of a core desire with this concept of loving God with my whole heart, my whole mind, my whole strength, how do I get there? Well, one of the things that we have to be willing to do is to do things that are not particularly feel-good things as disciplines to be able to activate the core desire. So if I want to increase my desire to love God with my whole heart, I have to spend time with Him. So I have to make the decision to do some things that I don't have a core desire for to gain the core desire. So sometimes we have to work hard at things that don't feel that good, understanding that we're aiming for something that will cause me to be much more effective in my life. So if I don't have this core desire of I really want to love God with my whole heart. Then I say I have a 70% desire, so I can say it's true, I do want to love God with my whole heart, but I don't really feel it deeply. What I should be trying to do, I think, is to grow that experience so that it becomes more and more intense, so that it becomes all-consuming. At that point, I am living out of a core desire. It's driving me without me thinking about it. And the way that we do that is to spend time with Jesus, to spend time with God. Enough time. How much time? Enough time so that you feel that you've connected with Him. The neat thing about this part of relationship with God is that we don't have to make the core desire happen. We just have to spend time with God enough, and He will make it happen. But if we don't spend enough time, whatever that amount is for each person is a little bit different probably, but if we don't spend enough time, we will not have that core desire, and it won't be working automatically in my life, and in this case, loving God with my whole heart. Well, what does that do with chronic stress? Well, when my focus is on loving God with my whole heart, my whole mind, my whole strength, my mind is not on whatever's stressing me out. And one of the major ways that we decrease chronic stress is to not be focused on whatever it is that's stressing me. So if my focus is on this all-consuming love for God, and it's happening even more and more automatically, I am much more protected from the effects of chronic stress, which has severe physical and emotional consequences, as we've talked about in other videos. So my encouragement is that each one of us, that you grow in developing this core desire that's a passionate desire to love God with your whole heart, your whole mind, your whole strength, to work at growing that so that there is passion there. And that will happen automatically when we spend enough time with God without all of the noise of the world getting in the way. I hope this has been helpful to you to help you on your journey of life, and I wish you well. God bless and have a great day.